Hello, my name is Patricia, and this is The Patricia Show. Please press like, subscribe, and share this audio with someone who needs it. Now, I want to talk about your power. We do not fully understand who we are. In the Bible, it says that God gave us dominion over all things. What does that mean? It means that you have the power to manifest and create and to change anything in your life that you want to. Now, everything is energy, everything. When you look at it down to the core of itself, it's all energy. So in the Bible, when it states you've been given dominion over all things, this means you've been given dominion over all energy because it's all energy. It also says that mankind, you have no power. You are using God's power. Now, do you realize what that is, what that means? If you have no power and you are using God's power, that is really some heavy duty, deep stuff because God created all things and you have the same power. Why do you think that God gave us the same power? Meaning that God allows us to use our power. Let's use it in an example. Say that you are a father of your household and you're going to be away for a while and you give your children power over everything in the house and everything in their life. If anything happens, they have enough power to change it. If evil comes into that house, they have enough power to move it. Doesn't that mean that they have the same power that God has because they're using God's power? In the Bible, it teaches that God has given you permission to use his power. Why do you think God did that? He did that because he empowered you and me to be just like him. He gave you dominion over all things in your life because he's given you the power to be the God of your life. I just don't understand why that is so hard for people to see. Maybe because whoever in the power in this world has taught us things that just isn't true, to keep us in the position where we are victims, not in the position where we are powerful beings. If you can see that you are but a miniature God in your own world, God didn't give you the power over the universe. He gave you the power over your life. That's why the Bible states you have power over all things. But let's look at it a little bit further. In that chapter, God says that he gave you the power over fowl, the birds, the fishes, and he just goes on to name everything that he gave you power over. What does that mean? That's actually saying that he gave us power over things that were in our lives, but even more. It sounds like to me that God is saying he gave us the power over the earth, because fishes aren't in your world, fowl is not in your world, plants are not in your world, it's in the world. So if God gave us power, and you can go read this for yourself in the Bible, because this is not Patricia saying this is in the Bible. If God has given you power over all things, does that mean that you, when something happens in your life, that you're supposed to cry like a baby and say, oh God, come help me, God, help me, God? What do you think he gave you the power for? He gave you the power so that you could bring about the change in your own world, so that you can act like the master of your own world, so that you can act like the God of your own world. Now, I know some of this is going to come to a shock for many of you, but it is the truth. And go read your Bibles to verify what I am saying. I don't think that God would give us power over our own world. And then if I didn't have money or something in my world, that means for me to go to God to pray for him to give me money. He gave me the power and the dominion over all things. He didn't tell me, oh, you have to come pray to me for it. He said, I'm giving you the power and dominion over all things. Money is energy. That means you have the power over money, and you have the power to manifest whatever it is you desire in your life. If this is the case, then we've really been living our life the wrong way, have we not? We are very powerful beings, and we do not realize that we are powerful. We are using God's power, not our own, because we of ourselves we are nothing. So if God has given us power over all things, which includes our finances, why are you broke? Why are you crying every day for God to help you financially? If he gave you dominion over all things, that means you should know how to manifest that money yourself. If you don't know how to manifest, then maybe you should say your prayers to ask God. If you gave me dominion over all things, God, how do I get out of this debt? What shall I do to get out of the debt? In the beginning, there was darkness. And the first thing that manifested was what? The light. And what is that light? God. God is light and love. Now, that means that I just want you to think about it, people, because the reason your life isn't working because you've been told so many lies and then you're not seeking the truth. The best way to keep a person in slavery is to control your mind. The best way to control your mind is teaches you falsehoods, especially in religious. What if Jesus came here to teach you of your power? What if Jesus did not say that he was the only Son of God, but that we all were the sons of God? and he came to show you how to take your dominion. Because it doesn't tell us in the Bible that I know of how to take our power or our dominion. It just tells us that we have dominion over all things. So therefore, as we know that God has given us dominion over all things, maybe Jesus came to teach us how to use God's power to get and manifest everything we want. I think he did, because he said to us, the kingdom of heaven is within you. He also said, ask and it shall be answered or given unto you. How many has went and asked God, teach me about me having the dominion over all things? What does that mean, God? I've said this many times before. In order to be teachable, you have to be open. You can't close your mind and say, oh, I know Jesus is the only Son of God, so I don't need to hear nothing else. Your mind is just closed to anything else. Because you can't be taught the truth when your mind is closed. Jesus came to teach us how to access that power within. Jesus came to teach us that the power of God was within you. And he came to show us how to access that power. They asked him time and time, where will we find the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus replied, the kingdom of heaven is within you. So if Jesus replied, the kingdom of heaven is within you, why are you going to a church to look for it? And my next question is, have you found it? The church that you go to, have you found the kingdom of heaven? Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within. Now, you can't take some of Jesus' words and listen to some of them, and the rest of them you throw away. Because Jesus is the key. So why would you take some of what he said and throw away the rest? Another question is, did Jesus say that he was the Christ? Or did man say he was the Christ? Or have we do not understand what the Christ means? The Christ means light and love. That is what the Christ means. So yes, I believe that Jesus was the Christ. But as you evolve, you will become the Christ too. Jesus became the Christ as he grew and evolved through many, many past lives. Whether you believe it or not about the past lives doesn't mean it's not true. Like, you have had many past lives, and you are growing and you are evolving through each past life. We will finish this in the next audio. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Patricia Show. My name is Patricia.